Cairo, good morning. This is Olu Fakolade of Idinka. So I thank you all for joining us. This is our Ile Juba Ifa Temple service. We welcome you. So every time we begin, we like to begin with prayer. But before we start, I want to ask you to like and share. Let folks know we're about to begin. So if you have an Ifa shrine or if you have any shrines, please get close to them. If you don't have a shrine, then just put your head to the floor and pay homage to Almighty God. We're going to pray. Mojuba loro, mojuba leta, mojuba loro mare, mojuba bobo rumle, mojuba bobo imale, mojuba boy kuntembili soloro mare, mojuba shungwade, mojuba yagwade, mojuba frakdamus, mojuba to, mojuba flori, mojuba pala corriente. Mojuba Felipe, Mojuba Pelao Corriente, Mojuba to all of our elders, Mojuba to my elders, my mother, Catherine Omoso, Robert Omokati, Mojuba to our elders in Ifa, Oluwo, Irawo Ifa, Mojuba, Oluwo, Agbola, Mojuba to our Baba Ifa, Solag de Popola, Mojuba to our elders and our loved ones who have guided us in this Ifa path. Mojuba to Felipe Garcia Villamil, Mojuba to all of our elders. We pay homage to you. Ashe, Jogbe, he who hears people please and self please. He who hears people please and approves of please. He who talks to people makes sure that the talk is completely absorbed. He who hears people please and self please, name be fire. He who hears people please and approves please, name sure die. He who talks to people shows the talk is completely absorbed, name for Shanla. Or Shanla, you the person Muslim beings. Person Muslim cannot fail to impress one. Strike frogs when some's rainfall. Both frogs when some's downpour. It is whatever the Akira Jupon, True tells us, or that accepts. Whatever the big rat tells us, or that accepts. All what I tell you, Father, please accept them and approve them. Oh, Turete, we are thankful. Olodumare, we are thankful. Turete, to show gratitude upon gratitude, solve all gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the hour of our benevolence. Whoever's going to show gratitude for your sake, benevolence, such person I see you today to Futi. These were the decorations to the 401 room. We're going to marry Ope, daughter of Fuji. There's also decoration to a room. We're going to marry Ope, daughter of Fuji. I'm grateful I see my good Tuti. I'm grateful for your sake. Favorite I see today's good Tuti. Oh, Turete, we're very grateful. Ashe. Awa dupe, awa bude, awa dupe, awa bude, adupe, anaruwa bude, tunebe, Olodumare, awa Awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, adupe, anawu, awa bure, tune, adupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure. Adupe anahu awobure tunepo ori emi awa adupe awabure awadupe awabure adupe anahu awobure tunepo irumole awadupe awabure awadupe awabure adupe anahu awobure tunepo legulorisha. We thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the blessings that you provided us. We ask for forgiveness. We ask for forgiveness for anything that we might have done wrong, any taboo we might have broken. Eros etutu. Canadian without soup can be very difficult to consume. These are decorations to etutu. Shot of Agmani Ragoon. He was full of bad character. He's bad attitude. Have ever known from mentioning God's domain. How many children does Ifa have that he will cast from out? Those who beg on behalf of it to Ifa, please forgive us. Ifa, we all call on you. Please continue to ward off death, ward off sickness, ward off cases and controversy, ward off fights, ward off litigation, losses in our fights, ward off witchcraft and negative energy from us. Bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, victory, all the good things of life. Move all evil out of the way and help us to experience the good condition. We ask that you would support us. Emma coming menamo, Emma coming meniano, Emma coming meniadelo kun, etamole, tori ifa lonimi, embora ti paneni, any banami, awati fa lelejo. Before we ask that you would protect us, move negative things and negative people out of the way so that we can experience you. We ask that you would support us. Oh, Belar, room says it's time to sleep. I put it's time to sleep. When the day dawned, I better room in the 16th room, where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lies. He was wearing dress for his blessings. He was snoring heavily. They told him that delegate from his disciple arrived. Room cried about what the delegate brought. They told him they brought 2 rats with running, 2 fish racing, swimming, 2 birds flipped and flight, 2 girls with big livers. A rumor said that on it. They come up. I admit my ignorance is educating me. Motuna Karaba. I hide myself in her bosom and survive. Motuna Karaba. But all can mask to be side bedroom speedily. All can mask to be side bedroom speedily to perform rituals because of children. You are the leaders, we are the followers. Leaders are the ones who show the followers wisdom. A rumor told them to get alligator pepper, to get cola, to get bitter cola, to get alcohol. Their couple got the alligator pepper, got the cola, got the bitter cola, and got the alcohol. That is right. Now that he's fully awake. Arumila, when you are fully awake, please look at me without your compassion. Is without compassion. The heavenly stars, you look the stars below. Aruma, when you're fully awake, please look at me with your eyes which help one to secure great wealth is such your eyes that the heavenly stars, you can look at the stars below. Arumla, when you're fully awake, please look at my eyes which help one to secure good spouses, such good eyes my spouse you just look at me with. Aruma, when you're fully awake, please look at my eyes which help one to bear many children and such good eyes a child should use and look at a well-decorated plate before long, not too far. Join us in the midst of all Iran life. Ashe, Ifa, please hear all of our prayers. Once again, move all evil out of the way. Move danger, move problems, obstacles out of our way. Bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, healing, joy, victory. Give us peace of mind and all good things of life. Ifa, move my ego out of the way so that we can hear words of Ifa. Ashe. Oshe Arula, Oshe Tura. Tiny are the feet of Taboo. The stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to use his headgear. Had I been enough to use his headgear, I would have taken it home and adorned my head with it. Easy Five's decorations to Arue. I'm going on a spiritual mission to Ejebula. We come look to the same pay money. Come sauce and make a rich corner rolla with respect in Ejebula. Osharola Zigarawo. Oshatura. I kick in the back inside. The actual shop against the tree. Cassie Fakrum. Music to ban that shit from a little. If no one should be wealthy, she'll be wealthy. I kick in back inside. And the mouth was at Zibana shit in the mouth of an owl. If no one should have joy, she'll have joy. I kick in back inside. And the mouth was at Zibana shit in the mouth of an owl. If no one should have victory, she'll have victory. I kick in back inside. And the mouth was at Zibana shit in the mouth of an owl. Let's see. Maybe so, shall it be? I'm a shit, Orisha. Lẹ́nu mi ò àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìbúmọ̀lẹ̀ ó bà. Ìfẹ́ ó bà o, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Ṣé bí mo dúró, tí mo súré, bí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀, tí mo súré, bí mo kúnlẹ̀, tí mo súré, bí mo jókòó, tí mo súré. Ìrètí mo sùn orí ti bọ́. Orí ẹni làrúdà èèyà ni ọ́. Orí ẹni làrúdà èèyà ni. Mọ́jú lómi fọwọ́ mọ́rí. Orí ẹni làrúdà èèyà ni. Gbogbo rẹ̀ tí a sùn. Ifá ò bá Ọlọ́run. Àti ìbàjájú Ifá ò bá Ọlọ́run ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. All of them are in the divinities. Thank you for life. We thank you for health. We thank you for strength. We thank you for food, clothing, shelter. We thank you for all the wonderful things that you have provided us. We ask at this time that you will continue to ward off death. Continue to ward off sickness, cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, outright fights, witchcraft, all negative energy, Ifa. We ask that you remove those things from us and bring forth to us all good things of life. Ashe, Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboto. Thank you all once again for joining us. This is Oluo Fakolade of Idin Kai Ifa Temple. I want you, before we begin this sermon, please like and share, tell a friend, expand the territory, expand the influenceship. Please, at this time, if you like the things that we're saying, if this is valuable for you, please like and share. Also, those of you who are new tuning in and those who have been tuning in for a while, please tap in with us. Send us a shout out. We're going to shout you out at the very end of the service today. So today's sermon is going to be very interesting. This is a sermon that is very important in my opinion, especially when people are either initiated, when people are embarking upon any sort of spiritual path, any sort of path of elevation, even in a job path, a life path, whatever. I think this message is very powerful, and it's a powerful message for you. Stay in your lane. Taboo and the key to long life. Why is this important? When we think of the concept of taboo, I would say knowing Ifa and knowing your destiny. All of these things help us to know our strengths, help us to know our weaknesses. Taboo is something that enables us to either strengthen or weaken our bodies. And what is taboo? Taboo is anything that can weaken your mental, physical, and or spiritual body. Taboo can be something that you eat. It can be actions that you can take at a particular moment in time. It can be even the things that you wear. Fear can even be a taboo. Imagine when you embark or you reach into fear, fear can be a thing that lowers your immune system. It's proven. So fear can even be a taboo. It is any prohibited action that takes one out of alignment with God and also out of alignment with their destiny. In layman's terms, observing your taboo is like staying in your lane, staying in your space of power, staying in your space of authority. When we are in our lane, when we're in our space, when we're standing in our place of authority and power, we don't do the extras. We don't overdo it, we don't underdo it. We show up. And that is what Ifa is saying is taboo is something that when we embark or engage in it, it takes us off kilter. It takes us out of alignment with ourselves, with our destiny. Obar O'Shea says, it is the tortoise which wakes and places the Ifa tray on its head. The snail is it that which travels and uses his house as its load. The black ant's masquerade is if which comes out, is it which comes out when it's flying costume. These were Ifa's declarations to Olodumare. After creating the world, he made Taboo its king. If we undergo Ifa initiation, we shall later die. If we undergo, if we do not undergo any Ifa initiation, we shall later die. Please let us recognize taboo. Taboo is the most difficult, the most delicate of them all. It is taboo killing people in the world. They are merely accusing death falsely. Powerful Ifa. What is Ifa saying here? Here, Ifa is saying that oftentimes when people die, it is really not death that is killing them. It is the engagement in something that is wrong. Taboo is killing people. Imagine. So, taboo actually is the murderer and not death. Think of it like this: we live in this society, and the foods that we consume oftentimes are toxic because they're filled with pesticides, they're filled with additives, they're filled with preservatives. Oftentimes, this inflammation is something that is taboo to the body. And that taboo is a thing that creates inflammation and problems. Sometimes we're consuming things that shouldn't even be inside of our bodies. Sometimes we may be thinking thoughts that might not even be need to be in our minds. And all of these things contribute to the factor of our demise. Overconsumption of toxic foods can be a taboo or is a taboo. Overconsumption of toxic environments, overindulgence in toxic and negative actions is dangerous. Hanging out with people that are not in alignment with your destiny, that are not in alignment with your scope, your vision, your hope, that can all be dangerous. Imagine if you have offered your elbow, but the individual you are riding with, they have not offered their elbow. They are driving and swerving in the road, and they have drunk liquor, and they're doing things that can cause harm not only to them but also to themselves. If we're in that environment, that is a toxic environment, and that is a toxic person, and ultimately that is a taboo for us. So over engagement in things and environments that are wrong for us is a taboo, and that shortens our life more than engaging in seeing death on the road. Taboo is killing people, not death. In the Odu Ifa, Odigbere Ifa says, Gereji, Mombo, the Awo of the town of Edo, he cast Ifa for the inhabitants of Edo when their lives were completely down and out. They were advised to offer Ebo. It was because you have done something incorrect. It is because you have done that which is wrong. That is why they are advised to offer a bow. And it is because you have done something that you have not known was your taboo. When you killed sacrificial animals and you poured the blood on Idingbe's eyes, it was because you have not realized your taboo. When we look at this Ifa, one thing that we've got to know is that knowing your destiny is knowing your strengths. And not knowing your destiny is no excuse. Knowing your destiny is an ability to know your strengths and also know your weaknesses. Knowing your taboos is absolutely necessary because even if you don't know your taboo, you are still subject to the rules of breaking it. When we think of the Odu Ifa Ogbeyeku, Ifa says, when a wooden house is weak, it will fall. When a building is weak and old, it will collapse. A building that collapses from behind, such a building will be consumed with termites. These were Ifa's messages for Iya Lode Ipo, when weeping that she was not blessed with the fruit of her own womb. She was advised to offer Ebo. She complied. After offering a bow, she, however, forgot to heed the warnings of the Awo. Behold, the baby that died. After getting in contact with Ierosun, such a baby should be called Agbiyeku. This is very important, and I reiterate it again. Taboo is killing you. Taboo is destroying people. In this story, Iyalode Po, she had gone for Ifa consultation because she wanted to have a child. And as she went for Ifa consultation, and the Babalao told her that she would indeed get pregnant and she would indeed have a child, the Babalao told her, once you have the esentaye of this baby, you must never let this child come in contact with any Ierosun. The Ebo, even that you offer, should not have any Ierosun in it at all. She offered the Ebo. She heard the advice and she did everything right up to a point. She got pregnant and she even gave birth to a very healthy child. The problem is, once it came time for the baby to have the esentaye, she brought the baby for the babalao and they set the child's feet on the opon, ifa, with the ierosun flying up. The baby was placed down there and she brought the baby around, I believe, 9 times. On the opon, singing the songs as the baby touched their feet on each item, the ikin, the opon, the tete. And at a certain moment, the child sneezed. And the child kept sneezing. And as a result of that one little sneeze and that one little exposure to Ierosun, the child later died. Ifa is saying that it is taboo that is killing us. And oftentimes, even if we don't know that this is a taboo or this is in our environment, it still has an effect on our bodies. When we think about this, I want us to think even about environmental racism. Environmental racism. When we think of, there's a place in Mobile, Alabama. It's called Africa Town. Me and my family visited that place last year. And when we were there, what we realized is that there were oil refineries, there was factories all around this area, and they were dumping poisons into the water. And the people there have a very high incidence of cancer, of inflammation based diseases. And it's so sad and tragic. There's a documentary about it out right now that discusses all of these things. But the thing that I want to share with you is that many of these individuals didn't know that their environments were toxic. And not knowing still does not have an effect. It doesn't negate you from having the negative consequence of being in a bad environment. So when we think about Africa Town, what we also need to think about is ourselves, the community of ourselves, the community that we're around. We need to be aware that much of what we're engaging in, it can be good and beneficial to us, or it can be bad and very tragic for us. All because we may not know. I want to end with a verse of Ikameji. Ikameji or Ifa says, "The sharp edge of a metal spike cannot be grasped with one's hands. An avaricious person is he who looks sideways in an expectant manner. His mind and eyes shall never be settled in one place. A snake does not take its young ones with it to move leisurely around the farmland." These were Ifa's declarations to Kari Nasi, who shall grow old and feeble and live until 3,000 years old on earth. He was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. Before long, not too far, come and join us in the sweetness of life. Longevity is guaranteed by Ifa, and the longevity guaranteed by Ifa is sweeter than honey. That longevity never dies like other brooms. Sara Zara, the raffia palm frond. It will never die like other brooms. In this Ifa, Karanasi was a man, and this individual loved life. He loved life. He loved living. And he took care of himself as he lived. And he took care of himself to such a degree that he avoided anything that would potentially put him in danger. Anything that was an unnecessary risk, Karanasi avoided. He avoided engaging in any sort of aggressive conflicts with people so that those individuals would not later hurt him or seek to have vengeance against him. He avoided engaging in any sort of overzealous or overconsumption of anything negative. He did all that he could to ensure that people would not try to be jealous of him or be envious of him. He did all of those things, yet he wanted to find out, is this good enough to help me to stay alive and be healthy. He wanted to go for Ifa consultation, and the questions he wanted to ask were, will I be alive to watch my grandchildren grow? Will I be alive to watch my many generations come to bear? Will I be healthy as I get older? He wanted to know all of these things. And he went to the Babalaos mentioned above with the main goal of living until a ripe old age, especially to the seventh generation. And what he ended up doing, he cast Ifa, and the Babalao told him, indeed, he would grow old, and indeed, he would be feeble, and he would be able to witness the growth, the birth, and even the death of his great grandchildren. He was told all he needed to do was offer a bow and take the raffia broom. You know those brooms in Nigeria that we use to like sweep they're long and you sweep it from the side. He was told to take that and cut the tips of the bristles, grind, and have the babalao grind that, and then put 201 incisions in his head. After he did his abo, he also did the akoshe. And shortly after this, Kerenasi began to look even younger than his counterparts. He continued to live a very cautious life. He did everything in moderation. He ate and drank good food. He drank water. And Karanasi was happy and very healthy. Ifa says that he lived to be 3,000 years old. He died, and his only regret when he died is that he couldn't point out the grave sites of the folks who carried him to his grave. What is Ifa saying here? When we know our limitations and we know our strengths, we know where our power is. You have power. All of us have power. The issue is that oftentimes we may go to places where we're not wanted, go to places or hang out with people who hate us. If we stick around with folks who we know love us, that's power. When we eat food that we know is beneficial to us, that is power. In this, it's important to note that Karinasi was very, very careful. He didn't do anything unnecessary to risk his life. He didn't insert himself into conflicts unnecessarily. He didn't jump into or rush into fights and conflicts. He didn't consume things that were toxic to his body. Karanasi was very careful. So, as we think about this process of what is taboo in a real sense is really irrelevant. What I mean by that is we know what is toxic to us. We know what is destructive to our bodies. We know what makes us hurt. We know what is harmful to us. Why not avoid that? Here in America, it's a little tricky. When we think about the foods and the drinks that we have, why not read the labels? Because so often there might be taboos in our food. Someone who might have a chicken taboo and you're eating something and it has collagen from chickens, or it has vegetable shortening, or it has shortening from a pig or a cow or something like that. We need to be very aware of what we're putting in our bodies. And that also means what we're watching on TV environments that we hang around, people that we find ourselves with. We need to be aware of the environment that we're in order to ensure that it is not toxic. You ever think about when a person has an allergic reaction? I remember I have a relative who's at Benihana and they're chopping up fish or chopping up shrimp, and she has a seafood taboo, or not a seafood taboo, but a seafood allergy, a seafood aversion. And they're chopping up the fish, and the mere fumes of it cause her to swell up and need, uh, I believe, the EpiPen. When we think about this, think of taboo as something that causes an allergic reaction in us. And oftentimes we might not even know it exists, but we need to be very careful and inspect the environments that we're in order to know whether or not we're delving into taboo. Because once we are in alignment, we are in alignment with our power. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe. Thank you all so much for joining us. I have a couple of announcements today. I want to talk about Itarogun. We had Itarogun. Itarogun was last Sunday. So I didn't televise it, but we've offered the abo, and I want to give everyone the information for that. So give me a second. So our Itarogun Odu, we cast it last Sunday, or yeah, I believe it was last Sunday that we cast that Odu on July 14th. And the Odu that we cast was Ofun Otura. And Ifa says that we came in Ire, Ajay, Ire of money, Ire of wealth. Ifa says that for many of the members of Idin Kai Ifa Temple, the things that we are going to be experiencing, excuse me, for the next 17 days, what is necessary for us is that we need to be doing things to make and bring happiness. We need to feed our ifas with honey, because what we need is happiness, sweetness, and joy. All of those things are things that we need to be around, and that is the things that we need to cultivate with ourselves at this time. Ifa says that we also need to feed Obatala for leadership. Leadership and titles and recognition are coming to us at this time. Ifa says that some of the things that we need to do to cultivate this leadership and the good condition is: one, we do not need to starve ourselves. We don't need to we don't need to avoid eating. We don't need to be overly fasting. We don't need to be engaging in anything like that. We also need to be feeding any animals that are in our possession. What I mean by that is we should not be mistreating or starving any animals that are in our possession. So no skipping meals, no fasting, and no um, starving or mistreating the animals that are in our environment. Ifa says that when we traveling at this time or during this time period is going to bring us great success. If we travel for the professions that we're doing during this time, this next 17 days, counting from the 14th of July, we're going to have a lot of blessings in travel. Travel will bring us great success. Ifa says that something incredible will happen, and this will help us to know that our success is at hand. Ifa says for us to be very, very careful of the things that we say. What I mean by that is, Ifa says that anything we say, any troubles that we find ourselves experiencing, any challenges, any issues, Ifa says that issue, that problem, that challenge is coming as a result of something that we've said. Okay. So Ifa says we need to be very careful of the things that we say. All right. Be very, very careful. So, in terms of that, taboo for us is foul language. Don't engage in any foul or negative language. If you have Ifa, if your Ifa can take hen at this time, please give your Ifa's hen. Please feed Ifa with hen. Feed Ifa also with honey. All right. Very good. Also, Ifa says not to overindulge in alcohol. Why? Because leadership. Ifa says that many of us are going to be seen as leaders during this time and will also be given many titles and accolades. So we do not want to negate that leadership by overconsumption in any kind of substance that will inebriate the mind. Also, we're going to be individuals who are going to be guiding others and showing others the way. So Ifa says, please, please be very conscious of all of those things. With that, we should have an incredible next 17 days. So if you would like to participate in our Itarogun, you can send all donations below. You can go to the website and send donations, or you can send donations to my Cash App or our Cash App. It's below there, Eshu Elegba, or at PayPal. You can do either or. This is the way that you can participate. $40 per family or per household. And in terms of that, that is what goes to offering that envelope. All right. If you are already a member, then you're covered. So those of you who would like to be members of Idinka, it's a very simple process. Just let us know, and we will engage in accepting you. And there's a whole process. So just let us know. There should be information on the website to tell you how to go through that process. Also, those of you who are online who would like to even participate more with us, we will be traveling very soon. We may be in Atlanta, we'll be in New Orleans, in various areas, and we would love to see you. And we'll be uh, streaming in those places as well. So if you're there and you want to tap in with us, let us know and we'll tap in. I want to also share that we did a Tefaz this weekend and they went very well. Thank you so much for your support. I want to send a couple of thank yous and shout outs to folks at this time. I want to send a gigantic shout out to my wife, Taylor, for just, handling all that business. I know it's rough and it can be, if you know it, doing a tefas can be challenging on not only your household, but also on your body and even the pocketbook as you're doing all the things that you're doing. So I thank you so much for cooking those meals, tending to those babies. So thank you and love you very much. Also to my sister, Robin Aojola Fadeke, for coming in and supporting everything, being there every day and every step of the way. We thank you so much, sister, for being there for us all. I want to send a thank you to Agbola, the Babalao of Puerto Rico. That's what I call them. Anyway, so I want to send a thank you to Agbola for assisting and leading and also helping throughout this process. Who let me know initially, hey, we would like to do this, and was like, yes, let's do this. So it went very well. Also, I want to send a thank you to Rayfield from Arizona, Babalao of Arizona. Thank you so much for helping and joining us. Shout out to Toby for assisting in the process of this TEPA as well. So thank you all. I hope I'm not forgetting you. I'm thinking. Thank you, Maisha, for sending donations to support us and doing the process. So many people. You all have to understand doing an TEFI is a very powerful and communal process, and we're so blessed to have it at our home and to do it here today. Today's the final day. We're doing Itaz as soon as I get off of the stream, and we'll be doing some divination. So if people are interested, tap in with us, let us know, reach out. We'll be here for a little bit and just doing Ifa and enjoying community. So with that, I would like to end and also reiterate, if you love what we're doing here at Idinka, please donate, help us to continue this process, help us to continue this cause. All right, help us to continue doing this. And also, please share it with your loved ones. If these messages are beneficial, please share, let us know, and also help us to expand. All right. I want to send a shout out to Abo Shisha Aboto, Tifashe. Thank you for joining us. Abo Shishe, Abo Ato, Allison. Thank you. Shout out to Jojo King, Abo Shishe Aboto to you. Also to Yaya, thank you. Abo Shishe Aboto. Annette, thank you. Joshua Boraboye, and also to Ifaleke. All right, thank you. Yes, my wife, she jumped on there. Love you, and thank you very much as well. All right, so let us end with prayer. Olodumare, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the good things in life that you have provided for us. We ask that you would continue to push away all negative forces and help us to be in alignment with our destiny, to be in alignment with even our taboo, to follow the taboos that we have been given so that we can see the true manifestation and greatness of our lives and our destinies. We thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Ashe. Thank you all again, and we'll see you. Aboru, Aboye, Abo Shisha.